Turn your Bibles for a moment to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 12 through 14. I'm reading out of the New Living Translation. If you think you are standing strong, be careful not to fall. The temptations of your life are no different from what others experience, and God is faithful. He will not allow the temptations to be more than you can stand. When you are tempted, He will show you a way out so that you can endure. It always seems that temptation is everywhere in our lives. And it's very true. In our very society, we are tempted by multiple things. We are tempted by drugs. I hate saying that one. I've never fallen to that one. We're tempted by, basically anything can tempt us. Billboards. Just simple TV commercial has turned into a temptation. Just online alone, we are bombarded by ads that lead to things that we have no business, that in reality we should not have to be tempted by. But we are. Temptation's everywhere, and the enemy is waiting to tempt us. Now, according to this, if you think you're standing strong, be careful not to fall. The temptations in your life are no different from what others experience. And it's true. We all experience the same temptations. And it's scary. God is faithful. He will not allow the temptations to be more than you can stand. But why does it seem at times that the temptations that are allowed into my life are more than I can stand? Why do I find myself still succumbing to temptations? I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm human. But it doesn't keep me from feeling guilty and shameful for what I've done. To this day, I'm still mournful of all the times I could have said no to a certain temptation. And I find myself hiding from God at times, asking Him to not look at me. I find myself pushing people away in my life, afraid that they're going to judge me. And I've been judged. I've been told, how dare you, Sean? You're a Christian. You shouldn't fall into the temptations of lust and pornography. But I did. And I have. Sean, you shouldn't be tempted to do this or do that. You shouldn't be tempted to be angry. You shouldn't be tempted to yell. But I am. And I seem to stumble a lot. There's a song by DC Talk called What If I Stumble? What If I Fall? What if I lose it and make fools of us all? As I look into it, as I look into that question, what if I stumble, what if I fall? I've come to the conclusion that we will. And we do it multiple times. Don't just think that as a Christian that you're going to do it once. We're going to fall many times because we're imperfect. But there's a thing called grace. Grace is something that God uses to forgive us. Now, this doesn't mean that we go out boasting in the temptations that we've come into. I've known Christians who've done that. Well, I can do whatever I want because of grace. No. Don't think that, but don't think for a moment that you're automatically condemned, you're automatically less of a Christian because you fall into temptation more than once. In fact, if anything, realize that without God, we're all just as broken, we're all just as ashamed of our pasts. To this very day, I still struggle with certain temptations. And I find myself a lot of times saying no. A friend of mine once told me, when I find myself in a place of temptation, say no 100 times. And it's worked. It has worked. We also have to realize that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. We also have to realize that God has come to make our lives abundant. He's come to forgive us. He's come to give us grace. So, you fall into temptation, don't feel ashamed. Cry out to Jesus. Ask him to help you. If you're feeling guilty and ashamed, ask the Lord to take that shame away. Turn to your friends. And turn to your friends. That's something I still have yet to learn. Don't worry. God is a big God. And if your friends are your true friends, they won't make you feel guilty. If anything, they will stand there and hug you while you cry, while you feel guilty. They'll do everything they can to make you not feel it. Don't feel that you are any different than anybody else, because you're not. I think that's something that we in the church need to realize. We need to get real. We need to get real with the fact that this is something we all struggle with. We all struggle with temptation, and that only God can get us through it. And only God can make us feel whole when we fall and when we stumble. That's been my testimony many times over, and to this day still is. Thank you for this time. I pray blessings and peace upon your life and your house. Take care, my friends. I will talk to you next time. Sean, signing out.